All right, today I'm doing some dictation testing in the Corti AI studio. And what I'm looking at specifically is a complex radiology scenario and wanting to do an evaluation to see how well we perform. Earlier, I did a very simple example, pretending to play a radiologist here on TV, and then I went to our friend ChatGPT and told it to take my examples here and make them bigger, longer, more complex. And so after some back and forth, we ended up with an abdominal CT dictation. And what I have here is the spoken form, um, where you'll see punctuation being verbalized, colon, period, comma, new paragraph, new line. And then also I have, so in addition to the spoken form, I have the written form. Oops, somewhere in here. Okay, so the written form down here. And then what I did was I tried to have ChatGPT read aloud this dictation, but she was doing a pretty terrible job. None of the medical words and complex radiology terms were being verbalized correctly, so I dictated it myself. And what I did was I used the dictation speech recognition tool in AI Studio to dictate this whole giant long medical report, and of course, just playing a radiologist on TV. So it'll be interesting to see if I pronounce everything correctly, if I got all the words right, and how that compares to then the written form output here. So comparing the transcript to the gold note. And to do that, I'm using an evaluation tool that we've built internally that's going to compare the generated text from my dictation to the gold note text from my note that I built here in ChatGPT. And the goal was to build a long, complex note with as many medical terms as possible, anatomical terms, etc. And so what we have then is a metrics that were calculated. And first, it's going to measure word error rate, character error rate, normalize them without punctuation and spacing, and then it's going to look at the medical terms. So our system will evaluate the gold text to identify all the medical terms and how many of them match in the generated text, and then tell me the accuracy of those key terms. So in my gold note, it identified, which is what you see on the right in the ChatGPT window, it identified 172 different medical terms, key terms. We can look at those, and 141 of them were correct in my output for a key term accuracy of 82%. And my word error rate overall was 6%. We'll look at the normalized one here. The overall word error rate with spacing and punctuation was measured at 14%. I think this normalized one is the better evaluation of the speech to text accuracy. And so let's take a look at what the accuracy is. And to do that, I'll open up this report and let's make it bigger. So here what we're looking at is the two results on top of each other. And we see the text that was accurately transcribed in both of them is just showing up: study colon multi-phase contrast enhanced computed tomography of the abdomen and pelvis period, indication colon acute right lower quadrant pain comma fever comma and leukocytosis. And it looks like it misrecognized. So the green text is what we wanted to see in the gold note, and the red text is text that was in my results from dictation. Um, who knows if I mispronounced it or if it was really just misrecognized. It could be either. And I think we'll probably see examples of both of those as we go through. The highlighted terms are the medical terms that were evaluated. We can add new and additional medical terms into that CSV file. Continuing to read, I can see that there's some terms, again, where uh, this was a pluralized form that was recognized. So that was something that's surely a misrecognition. Then we see down here, so the system was expecting L4, the proper representation of the vertebrae, and our system output L hyphen FOUR. And so our system is primed to output the word for FOUR if it's a single digit, and spell and use the numbers for double digits. So out of the box, it didn't recognize, oh, I need to format it as a vertebrae. That's something we'll have to look at. And then we also have, but we see other measurements were picked up correctly in terms of 14.2 millimeters. We see 100 mLs, 3 mLs. So it's picking up numbers and measurements correctly, where even though I said milliliter, it put in the abbreviation for me, which is nice. And even though I said 14.2, it's representing it as a decimal correctly and using for millimeters instead of spelling out the word millimeter. So nice to see that some of the spoken and written form are handled correctly. I also can see, why it's only a what was it, 6% error rate, um, normalized error rate. So we can see that most of the words are correct. We're going to have to look at some of them. You can see here it recognized interior abdominal wall instead of anterior abdominal wall, so misrecognition. And then also, I definitely fumbled through saying angenitourinary system, and it heard ingenital urinary. So anyway, interesting to see the difference, and nice that we can easily identify errors. We can continue testing them to see if they're reproducible consistently, or and if so, then we'll retrain and fine tune the system around those words, or maybe it was just me not being a real doctor and just not dictating effectively enough. So pretty cool. More to come. Thanks.